Right, time now for Media Watch, and Shona Bhattacharya is here in the studio with me. Hello, Shona.
Hi, Rochelle.
And you're going to tell us about how the internet is reacting to Donald Trump's new Afghan policy.
That's right. No need to tell you that once again, Donald Trump is going back on years of criticism against the war, this time in Afghanistan. USA Today has pulled up the now president's Twitter feed and republished those tweets where he was highly critical of Obama. Remember, Obama decided to add some 30,000 troops to the war in 2009, and here in 2011, you've got Trump saying, when will we stop wasting our money on rebuilding Afghanistan? Or even in 2012, again, it's time to get out of Afghanistan. Now, Le Monde has a series of graphics on the U.S.'s involvement in its longest war in history. And it details numbers like the fact that 2,400 U.S. soldiers have died in the 16 years almost that it's been going on. It's cost about $840 billion. And the fact that the U.S. Army has almost 3 times as many military contractors there as it does U.S. troops. On a side note, it's interesting to point out that at the time that Obama decided to get that surge of 30,000 in 2009, he was at the beginning of his term, just like President Trump is now. And they're both surrounded by Afghan war veteran commanders. And so you've got people like Secretary of Defense James Mattis, who was the commander of the United States Central Command from 2010 to 2013 in Afghanistan. So these are highly influencing our presidents.
Okay, well, how did the president end up switching sides then?
Well, the New York Times has an article called Angry Trump grilled his generals about troop increase, then gave in. It says basically that in addition to these advisors that were hovering around him, the blast, the truck bomb in May in Kabul that killed at least 150 people, that also influenced the president. There was also the fact that Steve Bannon, apparently the former chief White House strategist, had wanted to send private American contractors to Afghanistan and not troops. As we can see, that plan was vetoed. But in the end, the person who probably gets the most credit might be Vice President Mike Pence, because he's the one who held a meeting and acted as a go-between between the reluctant Trump on one hand and General McMaster, who was, pardon the pun, the mastermind of this Afghan policy. Now, Pence did write an op-ed piece in the USA Today, saying that the key here for him is that instead of coming up with end dates like Obama did, the Trump administration is allowing the military to go after terror targets and not get bogged down by these greater ideals like nation building or trying to set up a Western-style democracy that apparently hasn't really worked in many places. If you're looking for opinion pieces against the Afghan policy, just look just about anywhere. The Hill has an opinion piece by Anthony Cordesman, who has a chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, and he's also served as a consultant on Afghanistan. He says that Trump is basically trying to make up for his both sides comment in Charlottesville. And so this writer is saying that the plan itself is vague. And I'd like to end with a quote from his article. A strategy does not consist simply of goals. It consists of practical plans to achieve them.
Okay, well, staying in Washington for our last story, another scandal in the Trump administration, this one related to the Treasury Secretary's wife.
That's right. Steve Mnuchin's wife, Louise Linton, who is an actress, she loves designers. Take a look at this screenshot of her Instagram post from Monday, so yesterday.
Here we go with the hashtags.
NBC News, exactly, but you can find it all over the internet. So you can see Louise Linton glamorously coming down from an Air Force jet after a stop with her husband to Kentucky. The picture, isn't really that obnoxious. It's more the fact that she has hashtagged all the designers that she's wearing. We've got Hermes scarf, Tom Ford Sunnies, Valentino Rockstud heels, Valentino, Roland Mouret, etc. So a snarky follower and taxpayer.
She's name dropping that one. Okay.
Yes, she is. So a snarky follower and taxpayer, Jenny Miller 29 up top there, she says, glad we could pay for your little getaway. And so Linton's response is epic. She goes on a little rant, and she said, now in her now deleted post, you can see she uses very passive-aggressive sentences like, have you given more to the economy than me or my husband? either as an individual earner or in taxes or in self-sacrifice to your country.
Wow.
So, yes, no. So she's having, as the Huffington Post calls it, a let them eat cake moment on Instagram. I thought it was a very nicely found title.
Okay, well, I will be checking out that story. Shona, thank you so much for that. Shona Bhattacharya there with Media Watch.